In today's episode, I'm sharing how to make a quick and easy concrete planter. The first step to making the decorative concrete planter is to take apart this two-piece bowl mold that comes from Beacon Adhesives. It's part of their Maker's Mix collection. And I'm going to take real leaves that just make sure they're dry, and I'm applying a little bit of adhesive to the front of the leaves, and then I'm going to actually glue them in place inside the bottom part, the base of the bowl mold. Once you're finished with the project, you can easily remove the glue by just soaking the bowl in some water for a bit, and you can reuse your mold. The next step was to give the inside of the base and the outside of the top portion of the mold a quick spray with some cooking spray to act as a release agent before we proceed with molding our planter. I followed the instructions that came with the mold as far as the ratio of mix to water to create the concrete for molding. I did, as I mixed it, feel like it needed a tiny bit more water, so I added maybe a teaspoon or so at a time until I got it to the consistency that would easily mold. Once the mix is ready, you'll simply pour it into the bottom portion of the mold right over those leaves that were glued in place. Kind of press it to the sides and bottom a bit, and then insert the top of the mold, pushing it down tightly to compact the Maker's Mix and eliminate bubbles. You can also tap it a little bit, and that will help remove any air bubbles that might be trapped in the mix. Once it was ready to mold, I set my timer for 40 minutes, which is what it recommends in the instructions, and let it set. Once it's set for the 40 minutes, you can go ahead and remove the top portion of the mold. It came out pretty easily thanks to that cooking spray release that we put on it. And I manipulated it just a bit to get the bottom to release, but it came out of the mold nice and clean. After it was released from the base mold, I tore the leaves from the sides and made sure that I got any pieces that were trapped under some little edges of concrete. And that leaves us with this great impressed texture from the back of those leaves. To really make that texture that we embossed with the leaves stand out and add just a bit of color to the concrete planter, I sort of dry brushed on some outdoor living paint in one of my favorite colors, and it just gives you a little bit of enhancement on those embossed areas and adds a bit of color without completely blocking out the concrete beneath. It's sort of an aged effect, yet it still has a touch of color. once the paint was dry, I put in my succulents and added a little Spanish moss, and it's ready to display on our screen porch.